Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
You mean to wish me a good morning, or do you mean that it is a good morning whether I want it or not?
Please go away. Let me speak for the love of God.
Welcome to Good Movie Monday. There's a good start. We're the podcast dedicated to nerdy cinematic ramblings. It's great to have you with us for another week. I've actually seen a few newbies on board for the last couple of weeks, so welcome to all of them. This is our, let's call this our monthly threesome.
Ooh, most action I've gotten in a while.
I'm talking about myself, Glenn Cochran, co-host over there is Ben Helwig, and live from Channel 9, it's Melzy Beg. That's where the action is, isn't it?
Could be, if I could be bothered.
In case you are, if you are new, Melzy is from the Melbourne Horror Film Society. She drops by once a month to enjoy some of those nerdy cinematic ramblings and our company, I guess. How are you guys this week? I'll start with you, Melzy. Anything new?
I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah,
Not too
exhausted
bad.
like me.
Exhausted, yes.
Yeah.
Very, very exhausted. Yeah.
Okay, Ben, what about you, mate? Have you, what have you been up to since we last spoke, which was, what, yesterday?
Well, apart from helping you fix the Good Movie Monday website, which was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Look, pretty kind of busy with work. I did manage to squeeze in a couple of movies and some TV in there, which I'm very grateful for, because it doesn't always happen. Sometimes I don't want people to know how the sausage is made, but sometimes I recommend movies I saw ages ago, not ones that I just watched this week for the show. But this week I actually managed to watch stuff, and it was great.
So we're getting fresh sausage is what you're saying?
That's right.
Fresh sausage. Mm-mm.
How long's it been for you, Melzy?
You've had fresh sausage.
September.
You totally didn't have to answer that.
I was going to say, I feel like we're in Earth Girls Are Easy. When was the last time? A week? A week?
I'll cover for you. So this is pre-recorded in October, right?
Yeah. Last week, September last week. Yeah, no. I mean, let's be honest. I could have it any time I wanted it, but I unfortunately have very high standards, which is very annoying. Super annoying.
Something Ben and I cannot say the same.
No, I would much prefer not to. Like, trust me. Yeah. Anywho.
But I guess it gives you something to look forward to in September aside from the grand final.
Yeah, how depressing. Like, things have really fucking like gone off the edge of the cliff in September. Collingwood won the grand final. Things.
Melzy got laid. It was the greatest month of the year.
Great.
And we're in the cheer squad.
Great time.
And then it
It was
all
a great
just-
time to be alive, guys.
Yeah.
Anywho, indeed, I've got a question for both of you. Have either of you seen Rise of the Foot Soldier? British movie.
No.
No?
I've seen a lot of clips of it. I've seen a lot of clips of that guy.
Yes.
On TikTok and Instagram.
It's become a whole franchise, but for those that don't know, it's a brutal R-rated kind of British gangster film, and the reason I bring it up is because it was directed by the Gilbey brothers, and we've got Will Gilbey on today's show to chat about his brand new film, which is Jericho Ridge, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But yeah, so if you love Rise of the Foot Soldier and the other films they've made, which I'll talk about later, you're going to want to stick around.
You know what I like about those shows, those movies, is that they often cast people who were at one point or another in the bill.
That's true.
Like Billy Murray and pops up in them, and Burnside. Burnside turns up. It's great.
Also coming up, we've got Jarrett Gunn doing his PE class, talking about what's coming out this week on physical media. And the Boneheads are going to come up at the latter end of the show to talk about breaking the fourth wall. What?
The latter end. Sorry, I'm really really silly today.
Oh my goodness! I'm looking forward to that if that's the case. So
Sure, they will be too.
wait and see. Yes, Ben, would you care to take care of those obligatories, mate? Tell people where to go.
Well, now that it's working again, why don't you head on over to the Good Movie Monday website, where you can find all our socials. We are on just about all of them.
You make it sound like you did wonders for the website. The website was still operational.
It was fine. Yeah, it's just your email that wasn't working. Hey, I take my I take whatever praise and kudos I can get whenever I can get it, and then I exaggerate that shit out.
Well, I appreciate it. I can tell you, I was in dire straits for a while.
Yeah, we're on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube's, TikTok, X.
There you go. Take
Spotify,
that, new people.
you can-
Yes.
You
all
should
of
set
our
up. You
stuff,
should set up a
Letterboxd.
Discord for Good Movie Monday, Ben.
Yeah, I don't really know how to use Discord.
Oh, I thought you were telling me before the show that you're all over the Discord.
No, I
these
don't know what you're talking about.
No, you don't choose to. Don't
How
choose
do
to join
I
the Melbourne Horror Film Society Discord, though. I've noticed.
how do I get into that?
Well, there's a good segue. Take it away, Melzy. Talk about the Melbourne Horror Film Society.
Well, so the Discord, what you have to do.
Can I just log into it, Melzy? Or do I have to contact someone from?
You know,
Those who like running
all it
jokes
is
will
is
really
a-
enjoy
is a
this.
Quick message to get the code that expires in 7 days. But yes, anyway, the Melbourne Horror Film Society, outside of the Discord in IRL, has a main screening on the last Tuesday of every month. The next one coming up will be The Devil Rides Out, which will
I
be
fucking love that film. I've recommended it on this show
Yeah.
before. It's fucking great.
Yeah, so a couple of people actually brought it up in the Discord.
In the
I'm not-
Discord.
I'm not even bullshitting. I'm not even bullshitting.
Did they bring it up that I'd recommended it? No.
No.
You can
And
wish,
then-
mate.
and
You
then-
can wish.
And then yeah, so David is going to show that.
Cool.
So that's the last Tuesday in May. And then this Saturday night is a TBC. So the Tuesday screenings are at Long Play in Fitzroy North. We host a night at True North in Coburg on the second Saturday of every month. It's our more like B-grady sort of
And you haven't picked it yet.
schlocky.
'Cause
Well, no.
I'll just say right now,
It was picked, but it may
It
not
fell
be.
through?
No, it may not be the right vibe.
well,
I
can I
haven't seen
recommend
it, so
Nudist Colony of the
no.
Dead?
You know what I was told we have to show.
Nudist Colony of the Dead.
Cannibal Mukbang.
Cannibal
Yeah.
From-
Mukbang.
Yeah, one of our
It's a great title.
loyal members.
Mhm.
He was at Monster Fest Weekender and saw Cannibal Mukbang and said we need to show it for
Right.
but he is absolutely like gobsmacked about it. He's like, if it's purposeful, I haven't seen it, so I don't know. But if it's purposeful, it's genius. If it's not purposeful, it's so bad, it's the fucking best thing ever.
Yeah, I
Mate.
love that.
So, and
a
I'm like,
great,
that does
great title.
sound like our True North screenings.
Yeah. You kind of got to have those at True North, right? Like, because it's hard to concentrate
Yes.
when there's an
Yes.
ambience going on.
Yeah, because it's not the full, it's just like on
Yeah,
a
yeah.
projector, and so it's not the usual,
cool.
cinema experience. So we just go the fun stuff. But yeah, so anyway, I'll give you a little peek behind the curtain. So Mother's Day, I don't know if you guys have seen that.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
was that
The
that
trauma one?
was what we were meant to be showing, potentially still are, but David's getting some backup like thought on it, how it would go down.
Why would it be a problem?
Not being a bit nasty rather than fun.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
I think it's
Like
fun.
maybe not very fun.
Melbourne Horror Society, you fucking losers! Like, just get over it. You play horror film.
That's right.
I haven't seen it, so I don't know. But
Even the nasty ones.
Even the like fucking hell.
I reckon it'll probably happen. But
It should. I think it's a fantastic movie.
yeah, it's actually coming to Shudder
Yeah.
next week.
Awesome. And
Are
that
they
was
getting
that,
the trauma?
that
It's
was-
trauma.
wasn't it was directed by Lloyd Kaufman's brother, wasn't it?
Yeah, Charlie. Yeah, Charlie.
Yeah. Very cool. All right, awesome.
I
Where
don't
can...
like it. I don't like it when your Melbourne Horror Society members complain about things. It really
I know you
upsets me.
don't. I've noticed. I have definitely noticed.
Yeah, there's no room for complaints in horror.
No, you take all you can get.
It's the free for all genre.
Well, I feel like it probably, I don't know, it might not be my bag, but I kind of feel like, apart from the fact that it's coming to shut up, but it had been
because it's a
to
classic.
see, I guess.
Just Mama knows best. What's wrong with that?
Hey,
Mama knows best. What's wrong with that?
Yeah.
I just
Yeah, maybe it would be my bag.
like we actually. I was
Whatever it about.
Yeah.
What were you saying, Ben?
No, I was going to say something. I thought I better not.
No.
Better not.
He's
I'll say it off.
self-sensitive
I'll
self.
say it off air.
Yeah. Okay.
We Ben and I had a guest that yet to be revealed will be on the show that said to us off the mic, like, I had to listen to your show. You say some interesting things.
Oh my God.
They loved it though. They loved it. And I said, yeah, well, not everything makes it to the show.
hilarious.
Yeah, some things you got to cut out.
That's so funny.
So direct people to your website. What is it again?
melbournehorrorfilmsociety.org, and then I don't know, probably the socials are more up to date all the time. Facebook, Instagram.
Wicked.
Yeah.
When you
Awesome.
click on it, does it go to a page that says no wussies allowed? Melbourne Horror Society, we play the hard shit.
Ben, we went to the movies over the last week. We saw Boy Kills World.
We
So,
did.
Would you care to have a
Well,
little
you
bit
did. You saw a lot of it. I had a snooze through.
Oh, no.
Ben had a good snooze during this one.
Oh, no.
It was a deep
Actually,
sleep.
It's the first time in a while that
Oh.
you nudged me because the snoring
Oh.
kicked in.
Yeah, because I'm paranoid about my snoring. If I fall asleep, I snore instantly. And the second I knew Ben was asleep, I let it go. And then the second I heard the snore building up, I'm like, dude, like,
Oh,
I'm
shit.
shocked that I was able to snore because I was sitting like this.
yeah, you were so deep in
Yeah, I was really.
so deep that
Is
like
that
I talked
voice?
afterwards. I talked about like Andrew Koji was in this movie and he's in it all the way. And Ben's like, I don't remember seeing him at all.
But was it after, like, credit? Was it after Monster Fest Weekender?
It was.
So
It
you'd
was,
had
yeah.
you'd had some late nights, poor
I'd
Benny.
had a lot of late nights, but and early mornings. But
Yeah.
So anyway,
Just,
we technically we did see Boy Kills World. I will just jump in and say, look, I enjoyed this one.
Yeah, you better.
This is like, I mean, I didn't love it. I think there's a lot of ways that it could have been improved, including the running time could have been chopped down by at least 20 to 30 minutes. But it's a really cool, hyper violent, sort of lone wolf vigilante kind of movie. It's the John Wick Monkey Man kind of blend. I think they're good comparable movies, and a little bit of blood sport in there as well. But with that really cartoony
that's the
kind of
part I
video
missed.
game.
I missed the tournament part.
Yeah, you missed the training and all that kind of stuff.
Oh no, I saw the training at the beginning and everything.
Yeah.
I did, and I did see Andrew Koji. I just didn't recognize him
Yeah.
because of his beard.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, I missed the like. Yeah, I think he gets to the golden door, and then the reveal happens, and then I was out,
Right, gotcha.
and then I didn't wake up until everyone was dead, and
Look,
now going back up the golden door.
this
Are we
movie...
still in the cold open, Glenn?
This movie did have way too much CGI blood, which I always hate in movies, but it's really brutal. I'm surprised this came out with an MA rating because it's an R-rated movie. Like, it is really gratuitous, particularly the stuff they do. I don't know if you caught it, Ben, with the cheese grater. It was just horrific in a really
What about
cool
the
way.
feather duster stuff and the fallen Madonna with the big boobies?
But like, interesting to see Bill Skarsgård so buffed up. He's almost out buffing Alexander Skarsgård from Tarzan. He's got that Tarzan bod going on, which is interesting.
That's the thing, though. Like looking at him, though, for part of it, I was like, "Are you buff, or have you just lost so much weight that you just sub 6% body fat? So it's just
It was lean.
your muscles
he
are
was,
visible.
He was lean. He
No,
was lean.
really.
it was like he was huge." But I just thought my problem with it was, and admittedly there was a large chunk I didn't see, but it just felt like it was one note
It was
throughout the film.
definitely.
One level of intensity, no ups and downs, just like a constant.
Yes. So
a constant barrage.
there seems to be a lot of people in the
action.
market for that these days. Like, look, I mean, John
It's
Wick
very
going for
John
nearly
Wick in that regard.
going for 3 hours. John Wick seems to still draw a crowd, which I don't understand going for that long. And this one, like I said, if it had been just that bit shorter, would have been a really punchy movie. But I enjoyed it. You know, I probably will revisit it when it comes out on home end.
I will say it was good to see, and I don't know her name, but it was good to see the star of Happy Death Day in something again.
Oh yeah,
Definitely
So,
was. The cast was
yeah.
really good in this one.
she's
And
great.
and Famke Janssen, always happy to see Famke.
Ah,
Mhm.
always.
Yeah, no. And was it Charlotte Colby?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Charlotte Copley was great.
Yeah, he's really good in it. So there's a
And,
lot of
like,
things to like.
Well, I thought that who's that guy that's the brother?
Oh,
I
of
thought it was a really
course.
subdued performance from him.
He's the
He
guy
didn't get to-
from Stranger Things, the nerdy guy that flies into Russia in Stranger Things, if you know that show.
No, I know he's the in the other guys. He's the married to Will Ferrell's
Yeah.
ex-wife.
I wish I
That's
knew
what
his
I-
name.
that's
I
what
don't
I
have the
know.
nose in front of me for that, but yeah, he's interested in it. Like you said, he's interesting.
He's
not
almost
as-
the straight man in
he
it.
is almost a straight man, but at the same time, the family that he's part of is so heightened and cartoony
Yeah,
that it's in any other movie he would be, right up there.
yeah.
Interesting. Anyway, there we go. All right, we've reviewed it. Like I said, publicists will be happy. Moving on with the show. Let's bring Jared into it.
They were happy until you said that.
I'm sorry, you're fired. Get out of here.
It's that special time of the week, of course, when Jarrett slips into our DMs and gets all physical. So we welcome it. And how's it going, mate?
Yeah, it's great. Just recovering from the onslaught of Monster Fest weekenders, and we're just on the cusp of announcing another one that we can't reveal just yet because it's going to be announced in a day or two's time if all goes to plan. But yeah, just recovering from all those slasher films. So needless to say, I haven't watched any slashers since, and I'll probably give it another week, and then I'll gently ease back into it.
Oh, speaking of slashers, I might just compliment you. I did listen to your audio commentary with Tony Martin, and it was fantastic. So, congrats. Sir.
Oh, fantastic. Oh, that's great news. Well, funnily enough, last week it got a... Yeah, that's the one. Ben, it's not in the swamp. Stop looking. You've left it at home. You haven't brought it out to the swamplands, out to the bayou. It's not here. Oh,
special cameo appearance.
hang on.
It's a
Swamp Thing?
Sasquatch. Yes.
Yeah, no, last week OCN in the States announced that they'll be releasing by Umbrella Entertainment Houseboat Horror in the US.
Nice.
So it's coming out in the US and Canada, and it's going to be the same feature-packed local release, except it'll have alternate slipcover artwork. So yeah, there's that.
Yeah, excellent. I'm still just getting over that cameo. That was hilarious.
Yeah. Normally you've got to pay for a cameo like that. We're just giving it to you for free.
That's right. So what's going on in the world of physical, mate?
Well, it's a wonderful week for home entertainment this week. We've got your friend Robert Connolly's new film, Dry Harder, Dry 2, coming out on Blu-ray and DVD, or Force of Nature as it's called. But I'm completely with you, lads. They should have changed the title because I'm getting confused with that Ben Affleck, Sandra Bullock movie that was absolute trash. Tried to watch that thing twice. It just never got better.
Have you considered
So yeah, the Dry 2. Well, hopefully they'll do a sequel to the Forces of Nature, Ben Affleck, Sandra Bullock one. I'm sure they're both pretty keen to do something that isn't arguing outside of a car a la Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez. I dare say we might see that sooner than Jiggly 2 or Jersey Girl 2.
I reckon they'll call it Forces of Nature 2, The Dry.
Yeah, I was trying to shoehorn that joke in there as well, and I just decided not to go for it.
No, it was low-hanging fruit, but I loved it. So yeah, that one's coming out on Blu-ray and DVD. Then another Aussie film that's coming out this week on Home Ant, also from Roadshow, is The Rooster, which is played pretty much every festival around Australia with Hugo Weaving. Unfortunately, it's only going to get a DVD release, no Blu-ray for this one. But still good that it's getting a physical release. Then also from Roadshow, but from the Warner catalogue, We've got everyone's favorite director, my friend and yours, Steven Soderbergh,
Mhm.
with the Oceans trilogy coming out in 4K Ultra HD. So it's all three of the Oceans films, Oceans 11, 12, 13. We don't include 8 because it's not in the pack. And, it's technically not canon if it's not in this pack, but I don't care. And it's all archival special features, nothing new. In fact, you don't even get all the archival special features. It's a bit of a best of. And they couldn't even be bothered to do Dolby Vision or Dolby Atmos on this release. You only get HDR10 and the existing DTS HD master audio tracks that were on the Blu-ray. So I don't know if it's worth the upgrade. I mean,
Outrageous.
like I said, you could just walk into a Cashies and probably pick up the three of them on Blu-ray for $2. So I don't know. It's hard to say. I certainly won't be upgrading. In fact, I don't own them because they're directed by Steven Soderbergh. Guy has made some good films,
He
admittedly.
has made
but,
plenty of good films.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know if plenty is an exaggeration. He's made plenty of films, but I'm not entirely sure if many of them are great or good for that matter. But anyway, that's it from Roadshow. Then we've also actually no, there is one more Roadshow title. It's a DVD only title, but I know that if I didn't mention it, you guys would get very upset because it's got two of your favorites in it, Frank Grillo and Michael J. White. And it's an action film by the title MR9 Do or Die.
Yes.
So this one's coming out and it looks like a DTV perler, but I'm sure you guys will be excited for
It's
it.
got a very generic cover, like the rest of them.
Totally does.
that
And the
throughout
logo, it
French-
looks like the Mission Impossible logo,
Yeah.
the way they've done the typeface.
Is that from our good friends at Eagle Entertainment? Or
No, this one's from Roadshow,
No.
surprisingly. No. But the only other distributor releasing titles on home entertainment this week that are worth mentioning is Eagle Entertainment, funnily enough. And they've got quite a few releases. They've got Jack in the Box rises again. And from memory,
three,
Glenn,
I
you're a
think.
bit of a fan of the
No, I
is
would-
this the third installment, is
I
it?
wouldn't go that far. I interviewed the director and I enjoyed the chat.
Yeah, right. I thought you liked the first one.
No, that's just
Wow,
what he
you
told
like-
the director when he interviewed him.
Yeah. Yeah,
A complete
I haven't gone
fabrication.
near them. I haven't gone near them. I've been scarred since watching, 30 odd minutes of Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey.
Look, I've got to
I
say,
don't think I
like,
can
I
touch any of
certainly
these.
certainly didn't hate it. And the concept is quite good. I didn't love it.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Well, there's more of that coming with the third installment then on home entertainment this week. DVD only from Eagle Entertainment, but also coming out from Eagle Entertainment. I don't know what you'd call this one. It's kind of creature feature, almost mockbuster, but I don't know if it's really mockbusting anything. It's Crocodile Swarm. Which look, Glenn might have a copy in the swampland there, which makes a lot of sense given that it's a crocodile of some sort. There it is.
Sort of.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I
you
actually like the
Disappearing in
tagline
the
on the
mud.
cover of this one. It's
The
something like the
tagline?
beasts.
The beasts
Are
are
ready
ready
to
to
feast?
feast. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I thought that was a pretty decent tagline, but of course you've got a copy of it there because I can imagine you watching. I do hope you report back to us as to what it's like.
I will.
It's got to be better than that one that was
are we
set in a
interviewing the
prison
director
with
of
the
that one?
shark, the flood.
Yeah, that's right. What was that, Ben?
Are we interviewing the director of that one?
No, but obviously, of course, coming up on today's show, we have the director of Jericho Ridge, which
And that was the next title I was going to
There you
mention,
go.
Jericho Ridge.
and that
There
is a
you go.
fantastic movie. That's really good. Very Coen Brothersy. Like
I think you've spoken to us before just in private about that one. Yeah.
Assault on Precinct 13 meets that kind of thing. So anyway,
The Coen brothers.
Yeah.
Right. And do you happen to have back in the swampland there, do you have a copy of Corner Office with John Hamm? There it is. This one I definitely want to see because I do love a good ham sandwich. And
I've got a
admittedly,
copy
I
here for you,
enjoyed
mate.
Confess Fletch, even though it wasn't anything like the classic Fletch and Fletch Lives. But it was John Hamm doing Fletch, and he did what he could
It was
with
good.
a pretty weak script.
It was.
It wasn't
probably
bad. Like,
closer
yeah,
to
it was
the
all
books.
right.
It was closer to the books
Oh,
than
there
the
you go,
Chevy.
yeah.
The Chevy Chase ones
Yeah.
were nothing like the books because the books
Definitely
are a lot
way
more.
zany, actual
Like in the-
detective kind of.
Well, in the first book, all that stuff with Norm from Cheers on the beach and stuff. In the book, he is definitely banging those underage prostitutes and doing heroin with them, and all sorts of shit. Like he's not a kind of a benign father figure. He is banging them.
I read an article the other
See,
day.
we need-
I read an article the other day. Let's revisit Fletch Lives. It's an underrated classic.
Look, it is. I don't think it's. In my book, it's not even underrated. I've always considered it to be a bit of a classic. It's not like Weekend at Bernie's 2 that gets an unfair amount of shit, considering, it's a pretty good sequel, for what it is.
I agree.
Who would have
But
thought
I
there was
always think
life left in that franchise?
Judged by the standards of the day, they weren't as good as the original. But if you judge it by what passes as a lot of comedies that come out now,
100%.
especially from the studios, they're gold.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this is
Yeah,
why
particularly
reevaluating movies is so good these days.
Oh, yeah. And these sequels that come like 20 or 30 years after the original, like, Zoolander, I think, was probably about 10 or 15 years, but then Dumb and Dumberer, which I quite liked. But that Zoolander 2 was repulsive, as was that Anchorman 2 rubbish. And that what worries me about the Happy Gilmore sequel is that, I don't know, like, it seems 30 years is a long time to wait for an Adam Sandler sequel.
It is, but the concept is good. The concept is
I'll be
good.
there.
It's on
And
the
look, if it's
seniors
a
tour.
hit, maybe they'll revisit Little Nicky and we'll
Seniors
get a
tour.
sequel to that. I would love that. Anything but Grown Ups 3
speaking
or
of-
Sandy Wexler 2, please.
Speaking of late sequels in physical media, I did see that someone, defying all logic, has actually released Roadhouse 2 on Blu-ray with Jonathan J.
I think it might be
now
one
you
of
can-
those MVD Entertainment releases in the.
So now you can finally reclaim that classic
Mate,
title, Glenn.
I have been
You,
missing.
lent it
I've
to
been
me.
missing that more than I thought I ever would.
There's a part in your heart, and maybe they'll do Vacancy 2 and some of these other, sort of unknown sort
Hitcher
of
2.
sequels that crept out. Hitcher 2. Well, yeah, there's no
Hitcher
HD
2.
Hitcher 2.
Such a
Fine out
missed
for
opportunity
release.
from Umbrella when they brought out the
Yeah, I
Hitcher
reckon.
Blu-ray. Hitcher 2 was there, ready and waiting, and they just fuffed it.
Well, maybe they can
Jake
do.
Busey as well, isn't it?
Yeah, well, maybe they can do
Rutger Hauer
Roadhouse
part.
2
Yeah.
and Hitcher 2 together because it's a Jake Busey double number tour.
Bloody oath, there you go.
He's the
Yeah,
villain
that'd be
in
a
both.
great double pack. Yeah. So
The ultimate
that's
number
it
twos.
That's it for releases out this week, but I did want to mention some titles that are coming soon. One that I know Glenn will be very excited about that's coming out in July, Purple Rain on 4K Ultra HD.
Mate, that will be going in my basket.
So that's
So
a
the
good one.
world's-
And because it's
one of-
coming...
It's one of the cheapest Blu-rays in JB Hi-Fi's catalog.
I know.
I'm glad that they're finally giving it the treatment it deserves by giving it, hopefully, making it the cheapest 4K in JB Hi-Fi's catalog.
I think you'll be able to get it for anywhere between $26.98 to $29.98 at JB.
Bloody classic, mate.
But
Bloody
yeah,
classic.
you're right, because they were selling it at like $4 or something, $5 for the Blu-ray for years. But I remember when Prince passed, there was obviously a demand from, consumers. They wanted to own a piece of Prince history and his cinematic legacy, all 3 films. And they actually weren't in print at the time from, Roadshow Warner. And so they quickly pressed them, but I think they must have actually miskeyed. And instead of pressing, say, 5,000 units, must have done 50,000 units and kind of overcooked the thing, because you can still find Under a Cherry Moon and Graffiti Bridge and Purple Rain in most JB stores. And I'm pretty sure they're carrying that ticket price of $6.98. When 20% comes around, you're paying about $4 something for that. But anyway, I will upgrade that one on 4K, because admittedly, I've only seen this film twice, once theatrically with Glenn, which was my first experience, and then at home on Blu-ray, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And I think that film will pop with, HDR10 or Dolby Vision, whatever it be. I hope that they do Dolby Atmos for it, because that is a film
such
that's
a great
crying out for
slice of its time.
Absolutely. That said, I did go and watch the other 2 because I picked them up, of course, when they were about $5 at JB. And needless to say, it was a one-trick pony when it came to making movies.
That's right. Graffiti Bridge, he directed, and it was a direct sequel to Purple Rain, and it was fucking atrocious.
Intolerable. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so another release I want to mention that's coming out. It's coming out in June, and it's June 2. It's coming out on June 12th, which I think is disappointing, because I think it should have come out on June 2, and then it would have been great. I actually, at the Monster Fest weekender, I had someone come up to me, and we were having a chat about recent movies, and they said, have you seen, June 2? And I said, oh, Doom Annihilation? No, I never made it that far. I go, the first one was all right, but after Mortal Kombat Annihilation, I don't think I could stand any sequels with Annihilation in the title. And they said, no, Doom 2. And I'm like, yeah, it's called Doom Annihilation. It was just like this dude, where's my car moment back and forth. Anyway, No, I haven't seen it, but I look forward to checking it out on home entertainment. And then the last release I want to mention that's coming in the near future, and when I say near future, it's actually pretty far away. It's almost quarter 4 end of the year. It's The Crow. It's coming out on 4K, but it's not coming out locally apparently till September, which is mind-boggling given the fact that it just released in the US on 4K and it's out early next month in the UK on 4K. So needless to say, come September, I'll already have it on 4K because I'm an impatient man and I want to watch
When's
it
the
so I
reboot
can.
coming?
I'm assuming it's in September, maybe,
Yeah.
and that's why the local release is being, held off.
Yeah.
So maybe it's a smart decision because they're kind of like, well, I don't want to put it out too soon because then people will be comparing the two films and be going,
Is
this isn't my Crow.
Is it the same studio?
No, well, no, because I think it's coming out locally through Paramount via All Interactive Distribution, the original, the Alex
Yeah.
Proyas one, and the new one's coming out through Roadshow.
Yeah, so there won't
Roadshow
be a
used to have the
multi-pack.
rights. No, but you never know because who knows if Roadshow will be around next year? They could be distributed by All Interactive Distribution. We might have get every single incarnation of the Crow in one set.
Well, so what
But
happened
anyway,
to what
that's
happened to a 4K
yeah.
release of Crow 2, 3, and 4?
Well, I mean, I think Crow 3, is that Salvation?
Yeah.
I think that one it did get a Blu-ray release in the US, but Shout Factory, who has the license, had that much faith in it being such a popular seller that they made it a website exclusive to their website, which means they can only sell it to residents in the US and Canada, and they only press 1,500 units. So even if you're using a mail ordering, service to get it from Shout Factory or whatever they call themselves now, Shout Studios to Australia, there's only 1,500 up for grabs. And that was released a couple months ago, and I'm pleased to say it's still available. So I guess the demand's not there for it, but alas. Anyway, I'll be curious. I should probably leave something on Alex Proyce's page and go, any good? Should I bother checking this one out? He's been quite vocal about the new one.
Yes, he has. I want to know his thoughts on number 2, City of Angels, because I think that's a pretty good movie.
Yeah, well, you should raise it with him. I'd be keen to hear his thoughts.
I had him on the
too.
show and I didn't dare.
Oh yeah, it's almost dangerous ground, but you should. I said this to Ben the other day. There's a new show that's just started airing in New Zealand recently. I don't think it's come to Australia yet. It's on Sky over there, called Dark City: The Stranger. And so when I saw the holding slide come up on YouTube, I got kind of excited because I was like, hang on, they've made a Dark City series. And I go, well, maybe they have. I just haven't been following it that closely. No, it's like New Zealand's very comical version of Dexter. And admittedly, after I watched the trailer, I was like, oh, this is much better.
He made a like a short film sequel to Dark City, which is why he was on the show to talk about a couple of years ago.
Yeah. Did he
that
do it with
his,
one of the virtual
his
screen sort of thing that he does?
Yeah. Look,
Yeah.
it wasn't that crash hot, to be honest with you.
But because he doesn't have screens as fancy as these ones, because
No,
legitimately, anyone watching this on YouTube or Instagram or Facebook or TikTok, I see they're on TikTok, and you've amassed quite a few followers on there as well. Not like the Monster Fest TikTok, which I think we haven't quite hit double digits yet. The videos get views, but people just don't feel like subscribing. But yeah, these videos and these backdrops are fairly elaborate. So maybe you can have a chat to Alex Proyce, get him back on the show, tell him how this is done and what his thoughts are on Crow City of Angels.
We could just make our own with the three of us. We could just make our own special Dark City movie where, like, we all wake up in bathtubs and don't know who we
Yes.
are, and then we just spend the PE class trying to figure it out.
And Ben, your old man
And
can
Glenn-
cameo as one of those underworld people.
He can come in again, and drop off. He was dropping off the place to be raffle ticket membership thing. I'm not sure why.
Well, that was important.
Yeah.
I was going to mention, though, Glenn, you've got a few contacts. There's a good chance that we could kind of bowfinger stylings, sneak Hugo Weaving, or someone of some sort of, credibility that's attached to the Dark City franchise or film into our Zoom sequel.
Oh, that'd be great. That would be great. Let's do it.
Well, we should totally do it. Anyway, gentlemen, that's all the news and all the releases I've got for you this week. So until next time.
Stay physical.
Stay physical.
Physical.
Hey, where's Nick? Is Nick coming back in to say stay physical or what?
It's Terrific TV Tuesday, the only Tuesday TV segment that drops on a Monday.
Ben, we've just had the intro telling people what we're about to do. Would you like to tell them again?
Yeah, it's
We gotta keep the tradition running.
TV, the only
Tuesday, the only.
Tuesday TV, Terrific TV Tuesday segment that drops on a Monday.
Thanks, mate. All right, more questions for you. Do you like Robin Hood?
Yes. Well, one of them.
Do you like Mel Brooks?
Yes.
Do you like Men in Tights?
Tights?
I'm talking about a TV show that was made in 1975 called When Things Were Rotten, which is the spoof show that Mel Brooks made after Get Smart. So I just wanted to take this opportunity to talk about this show. He had made 3 TV shows. I didn't know that until I was looking up, stuff for this segment. So he did Get Smart, then he did When Things Were Rotten, and then in 1989 he made a TV show called The Nut House with Harvey Korman and Cloris Leachman, which I'd never heard of before. And that's like an American Faulty Towers. So that might be on my next to watch list, I reckon.
It sounds like they made a TV show out of high anxiety.
Yeah, maybe. Remains to be seen. But When Things Were Rotten is an interesting one because this show was made in 75, which places it right between Blazing Saddles and Young Frankenstein, which were made the same year, and then Silent Movie, which was made 2 years later. So this kind of takes place right in between them. But it is essentially Robin Hood Men in Tights, the TV show. The cast had Dick Gautier, which was Jaime from Get Smart, as Robin Hood, which is fantastic casting. Then Dick Van Patten plays Friar Tuck. Bernie Koppel from The Love Boat plays Ellen A. Dale. You got Henry Pollock from Webster as the Sheriff of Nottingham, and Misty Rowe from Meatballs 2 and Class Reunion. I'm sure Misty Rowe is a name you are familiar with, Ben.
Yes, very, very much so.
She plays Maid Marian.
She's very.
Yeah, Mel Brooks wouldn't cast anyone that's not hot.
She's very everything, Melvin. She's everything.
Nice.
Okay. But the show didn't last very long, even though it was a critical success. Never really found an audience and was cancelled after 13 episodes. And the good thing about that is that all 13 episodes are on YouTube and available for viewing. So I highly.
You know why it didn't work? Because they didn't have a phone box that they that led them to a secret base in the opening credits.
That's a lame joke.
I'm just. It's not a joke. That's exactly. I firmly believe that's exactly why. If Robin Hood had walked there.
No, but what about the scene when Robin Hood and the Sheriff of Nottingham go into the Cone of Silence? Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
Anyway, so just a quick one. Yeah, Robin Hood, When Things Were Rotten. It's a fantastic Mel Brooks comedy that if you've never heard of and you love Mel Brooks, it's one worth looking up. But I'm going to throw it to Benjamin.
Well, look, it's a big week in TV this week. Shogun just wrapped up, and what a cracker of a show that was. And spoiler alert. Well, not spoiler alert. The breakout character in that show is Lady Mariko, which is who was played by Anna Sawai, who is actually like a New Zealander, believe it or not, or at least was born in New Zealand and then moved to Japan when she was 10 and became a J-pop star.
Wow.
And then but finally kind of broke out and started doing TV shows and movies and stuff. And so I was kind of Google stalking her, and I found out that she was in this great show called Giri/Haji, which I think translates. I may be getting the order wrong. It's Judy and Shame, but I can't remember if Giri is Judy or Giri is Shame, which way it goes. But it's on Netflix. I think it's only one season, and it's really only one season. It's only a one season type of show. But it's basically about this Japanese cop who has to travel to London in search of his brother, who is like a Yakuza member who they thought had died, to kind of stop this gang war. He commits this murder in London that sparks a gang war in in Japan, and he has to go to London and track him down. But he can't do it officially, so he has to go under the guise of this. What would you call it? It's like he has to go and do like a class, like on police, like a seminar. Like he has to participate in the seminar, and the seminar is run by Kelly MacDonald, who I've had a major crush on.
Just
for
caught my
about
attention.
25 years. and solve the crime on the sly. And but then she kind of twigs and gets involved, and Justin Long turns up in it. Funnily enough, there's actually a couple of people from
You've just sold Chloe on it.
Yeah, exactly.
and Takahiro Hira from show who's like the main kind of antagonist in Shogun, is the star of the show as well. Anna Sawai is basically plays like a Yakuza boss's daughter. She only has a fairly minor part, but it's 2019. It's fucking great. Like it's got some great kind of comedic moments in it, but it's also incredibly gruesome, very bloody, and a lot of fun. So highly recommend that. It's on Netflix. I think I've said that twice now, but
Netflix. Did you get that Netflix?
Repetitive there.
I have a funny feeling that's going to be a recurring theme coming up on the show.
Netflix. Oh, now I'm going to talk about an opposition though.
No. Wow!
Look, anything that appeases any of our corporate overlords. We're not affiliated with any of them. We want to please all of them.
Take it away, Mousy.
Well, it's like last month I talked about Channel 10's Survivor,
and you've done it again.
in Channel 9,
the alarms going off in the building.
Shit. Now we're going to go from Netflix to Paramount Plus. So I was, so this is, I mean, unsurprisingly, I'm going to go on a little bit of a long-winded thing before I get to what I'm talking about. But so I was watching Yellow Jackets, and my dad rudely must have cancelled their Paramount Plus or something, because I had 3 episodes to go in season 2, and I'm like, what? Hang on, I've only got 3 episodes to go. So I'm like, okay. I'll download Paramount Plus and cancel it before the 7 days is over and just watch those last 3 episodes. Well, anyway, so I go in there and I'm like, all right, we're ready to do this.
This really is not appeasing our corporate overlords. This is just highlighting our corporate overlords' greatest fears. Someone who passworded shares and then just uses the trial period.
I know. So then Paramount Plus must be hacked into my conversations or what I listen to or something. And
it's really not going well for them.
Right at the top of the bloody suggestions was the series called Evil. And I'd heard about this series. I listened to a podcast. Now I'm going to spruik another podcast called Colors of the Dark. And Rebecca McKendry would often talked about this series, Evil. And so I'm just like, Evil, I know that. And so then I'm like, okay, all right, I'm keeping Paramount Plus for a while, I guess. So I
smooth it over.
fucking loving this series. So I am halfway through season 2, like in a couple of weeks or something, and with my limited time, like that shows how much I've been squeezing in bloody watching it. It's a basically like a forensic or clinical psychologist is taken on board by a priest in training. And then they also work with
this is with the guy from Cage, right?
Well, I was about to say I didn't actually really know any of the main people in it, so I'm not sure. But and then they've got like a sort of like a blue collar contract worker kind of thing. They go on sort of, I don't know if when it comes out at the time, if it's a weekly, but what you would say is like a investigation of the week or whatever, episodic investigation or whatever of of supernatural occurrences.
Yes, monster of the week type of stuff. Mystery of the week.
And sometimes like there's exorcisms involved and a lot of sexual tension between the priest in training and the forensic psychologist.
Ooh, it's Mike Coulter. Mike Coulter.
Yeah, Mike Coulter.
He was Nick Cage in the Marvel series, and he's in The Good Wife.
Oh, yeah.
He's in one of my favorite movies from last year, That Plane with Gerard Butler.
Oh yeah. Well,
He's like the main guy.
everyone
the
in it
other
is
main guy, that's
everyone in it is fucking amazing. And then it's also got in it Lost, Ben from Lost. But what really blows my mind is that the blue collar, like, so one of the main guys in its name is Ben, and I'm like, no, this isn't right. Like, that's Ben. He is always Ben from Lost, you know. But he's like an evil motherfucker. And so good. And it is just, yeah, I am loving it. And so the fourth and unfortunately final season is coming out in the next couple of weeks on Paramount Plus. So it's got an end date, so you can do the 4 seasons. And 4 seasons. And yeah, really, really highly recommend it.
I like the idea of 4 seasons. I like it when they bow out on a high.
Yeah.
Oh, look,
Yeah.
Christine Lahey's in it.
Yes, she's
And,
so good.
And it's that Asif Mandvi.
Yeah,
He's the other guy.
He's the Ben. That's not the Lost Ben.
Kurt Fuller, Glenn.
It's really, really, really good.
Awesome.
I did watch the pilot episode, but I
Oh,
never
yeah.
made it much. I never made it much further. Not there was nothing wrong with it. I quite enjoyed that first episode, but I think like you, my Paramount Plus subscription had just expired, and I was like, oh, I'll come back.
I would recommend wait like when the 4th season comes out, and then just
binge the whole lot.
in a month. Yeah.
Well,
That's what I recommend.
subscribe for 12 months is what they say.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
I get up and greet the new day with 100 thoughts. I've had 1,000 ways. I'm just like I've always been. Nothing has changed except the house I'm living in. Except the house I'm living in. It's hard to believe I've stayed the same through all these changes of atmosphere. Me company. I've managed to take it light. Bouncing off white walls. Nothing has changed. Except the house I'm living in. It's hard to believe I've stayed the same through all these changes of atmosphere. I'll go for a walk now.
So, guys, I went to Facebook again and asked some questions of people to answer, and unlike last week, we had some we had some answers.
Ooh.
I know. So, the lesson to be learnt here is ask a very, I guess, simple question. Because last week I left
You've got
it
to
in
be
the air.
forthright.
I left it in
Gotta
the air.
be-
Like, what do you want us to talk
direct.
about on the show? And no one.
you can't do that.
Okay,
No,
fair.
You can't do that.
All right, I know this now.
Yeah.
So I asked people to name some underrated movies, and let's see what they have to say. We've got the first answer that came on was Edge of Tomorrow, which
Oh, what a fucking banger of a movie that is.
great movie, but I don't know if it's underrated. Like I think it's rated. Like I think it has its loyal following.
Well, look, but do they like Edge of Tomorrow, or do they do was it Live, Die, Repeat, or whatever the the poster, the American title was, or whatever?
Well, that was the tagline that was bigger than the title, and
the
everyone
title,
thought that
yeah.
was the name of the
Remember-
movie.
Remember Turbulence, the VHS for Turbulence? It was
That's
Fear
right.
is in the Air, and everyone go, "Oh, where's that Fear is in the Air movie?" And you're like, "It's called Turbulence."
So that was Paddy Glavial that came in with that answer. Our old mate Brody came in with Pin. Brody Kane
Oh,
said
yeah.
Pin Pin's a
with,
classic.
with
Yeah.
your favorite, what's that guy's name? David
David Hewitt.
Hewitt.
Yeah, and he had a
Back when he
response.
looked pretty, he was
He
so
had a
pretty.
response. Yeah, before he sort of got tubby and corporate.
Literally, I think the difference for that guy, yeah, it's like 10 kilos.
Yeah.
Between that guy being super good looking and a mega nerd.
Yeah, 100%. So Brody had someone chime in to respond to that, saying that it's great and underrated, but Brody said that it needs to be released ASAP locally because it never had a
We showed it a few years ago.
never had a Blu-ray release. I don't know if it's even had a DVD release in Australia.
Yeah, I don't know. I've got the VHS though.
I don't doubt that. It's probably right there behind you now. Good old Aaron Grox came in and said Hot Rod, which I would agree with. I think that is just a banger. I'd be surprised how many people I talk to that actually don't like that movie, which I don't understand at all. TJ Bowser came in with Eyes of Fire from 1983. I'm sure Ben has that behind him somewhere.
Is that the one where I always get it mixed up? Is that the one with the rock band?
No, I think it's like a fight movie. I think it's like a blood sporty kind of.
Right.
I've never
Which
seen
is
it.
what I'm thinking of. Maybe it's like what's the Roses? What's the rock band comes to town? It's very much like Trick or Treat.
Ooh, I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Stone. It's not Stone Roses, but it's
Yeah.
Which Trick or Treat's pretty
I always thought it
underrated.
was Eyes of Fire, but it's not. Yeah,
100%. And Brody couldn't help himself. He came back into the conversation with Perfect Weapon, The Empty Man, The Reflecting Skin, and The Prophecy, and Nemesis, and Dolls.
Which Prophecy?
It'd be the Christopher Walken one.
Yeah. Well,
I
that
like
is a fantastic film.
Yeah, I might add that before he added all that, he sent me a private message saying like, I'm sorry I get carried away with these comments. I just left it to one. I'm like, dude, go for it. The more the merrier.
20 answers minimum, Brody. 20 answers minimum.
Cedric D. Foppelstein came in with The Fury. What
Is
a
that
name.
Brody's pseudonym? So he can...
And then finally, Liam for Major, who is actually the director of that Susie Quattro documentary, came in with John Carter. That's an interesting one.
John Carter, Warlord of Mars.
Yeah,
I do have that on 3D and no longer have a 3D TV
Same.
on which to play it on.
Same, which is a surprising answer. Like Liam is very, very he's very much into like your Godfathers and your sort of your big cinematic kind of movies, and I'm surprised that he came in with John Carter. But look, I think
that is a big cinematic movie.
Yeah, I know, different kind of caliber, but tanked epically. But
yeah, it's a shame because I like the source material that it's based on.
Yeah,
but it's a Yeah, look, it's a hard one. I think it's a hard one to. It's like because it's 30s or 40s science fiction.
Yeah.
And you know,
Well, I wanted to weigh into this conversation with a movie that I bring up all the time and nobody agrees with me, but I think criminally underrated is Mel Brooks's Dracula Dead and Loving It. Anyone on the same page?
you're on your own there, buddy.
Yeah. Come on. It's a great companion to Young
It's
Frankenstein.
up there
What
with
are you talking about?
Wrongfully Accused and
that's underrated too. What are you talking about?
and was it Vampire in Brooklyn? That's
Yeah.
it, with Eddie Murphy's.
No, I'll leave that one. But I was then going to add Rocket Man, the Harlan Williams movie. That is like criminally underrated. That's one of the funniest movies ever made, I reckon.
I reckon Rocket Man. Like I was kind of talk about, and I was talking to Jared about this earlier in the week. But Blue Ruin and Green Room.
Yeah,
Green Room.
They don't feel like I'm not sure if I don't think they're underrated. I think they're underseen.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes, because people
Because it's a
that have
bit
seen
different.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why I think
kinda
Rocket
still-
Man, like if you've seen, it's like Rocket Man for me is like Bubble Boy or Dirty Work. Like if you watch it, it's fucking great.
Yep.
But without the video store being there for you to discover it on a weekly, on the off chance,
Yep.
you're just like, oh, I just need another one. I'll pick this. It's like how are people ever going to discover it?
Yeah.
Mm.
Absolutely.
Because
One
they
I
listen to this show and we tell them to.
One I recommended a while ago, Ben, was The Last Mimsy. That's definitely underrated. That's one that was directed by Bob Shea. It's like a family time travel kind of adventure movie. That's fantastic.
That's pretty good.
And I noticed last week in the news, Yahoo Serious popped up again, and I just want to throw out Mr. Accident because I actually think that's better than anyone gives it credit for. And once again, like I think every Yahoo Serious, oh my God, what are the fucking odds he would hold that up?
There it is.
Are you
Mr.
kidding
Accident.
me? That's like I think that's a really funny movie. I don't understand the hate for that one.
No, it's great. I think
I have a list. Should I just jump in with some?
Go for it.
At the top of my list was Drag Me to Hell.
Oh yeah.
Sam Raimi's
Yeah.
return to horror after the Spider-Man movies. The Fright Night remake with Colin Farrell and Anton Yelchin. Again, Anton Yelchin.
Interesting one.
I think it's fucking awesome. I love it.
Did you watch
Road Games?
Road Games? Oh, the Aussie one?
Yep. Yeah, directed
Yeah.
by Richard Franklin with
Yep.
Jamie Lee Curtis and Stacey Keach. That's
Rear
so
Window on the
good.
Highway?
Yes, exactly. Near Dark, having come out the same year as The Lost Boys.
That is a great one. That is a great one, like because I actually think that's a better film than The Lost Boys. It's probably just not as fun.
Yeah. No,
I wouldn't go that far. I like Near Dark.
I love The Lost
Yeah.
Boys. Oh my god. Waitress with Kerry Russell and Nathan Fillion.
And
Great. Oh, I can't remember. I haven't seen it for a long time.
oh, am I thinking the same one? I might not be. No, I'm thinking Waiting.
Adrian Shelley died. She was murdered in her apartment building just before
hang on,
or
what?
just after that movie came out.
Which one?
Adrian Shelley, Waitress.
Oh my
She-
god.
I think she directed or wrote it.
Oh my god.
And she's in it. She's one of the other waitresses.
Yeah.
She was like, in her apartment in New York, and there was a bunch of noise. They were doing construction downstairs, and
I
she went
remember
down
that.
to complain. And
Yeah.
the worker came back, followed her upstairs, and killed her, strangled her in her apartment because he was an illegal immigrant and thought she was going to report him to the INF.
No way.
Yeah.
Damn. Wow.
Wow.
That
That
just got dark.
That took a turn. The Prestige, I think, is Christopher Nolan's. That's my favorite Christopher Nolan movie.
Yeah,
So
not
what do you
many
think-
People talk about Prestige.
No, they
No.
don't. I don't know how.
What do you think of the Prestige versus Illusionist?
I haven't seen The Illusionist.
Yeah, right. Because that's they're basically the same movie,
Mm.
but just different cast, different directors.
Yeah. And then Hello Mary Lou Prom Night 2.
Oh yeah, yes.
I
Well,
always
okay.
have
How
to
can you
find
underrate
that.
How can you underrate a movie where the title rhymes with the tagline? That's
I
like
do not know. I don't know.
What do we
It's
What do
like
we think of Prom Night 3?
I haven't seen it.
Silence. Okay. Crickets.
and Prom Night 4.
Yeah, Prom
What
Night
about,
4
uh,
was like
what
a
do you
remake.
And
guys-
the remake? I've seen the remake.
Yeah.
What do you guys think of the movie Cursed?
Oh, that's a
Oh.
great one. So
That-
yeah, I'm dying to see the director's cut. I have never seen
Yeah.
it. Yeah. So I think it's
100%.
a perfectly fine werewolf movie. I don't understand the hate, but I understand why it's not as good as it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Why is that one that you
Yeah.
enjoy?
I thoroughly enjoyed Cursed.
Yeah.
Uh,
Would love to see what it was supposed to be.
I know.
yeah, I keep hoping that it's going to be one like Payback, where they do the two versions.
Oh gosh, yes.
I think Payback is underrated in
Totally.
terms of the Parker and Parker the what's his name, the bald guy.
Oh,
who's in
Statham.
everything. Statham, yeah, the Jason Statham one with the Parker movie with
Yep.
Jennifer Lopez. Although I have to say I'm shocked that Jennifer Lopez is in that film because she's not the love interest and she doesn't really have that much to do with the actual.
Oh, that is
they're pulling
surprising
off.
that she would lower herself.
And she's just in it. Like she's got a lot of screen time and stuff, but she really is like a side character. Like Parker is the main character. You're like, why is Jennifer Lopez, like, did she owe the director a favor or something? It's really hard to. I haven't gone back.
What a shame nobody
Thank
can see
you,
that.
Melzi. I'll be putting that on a loop later on. If the internet ever dies, I'll still be fine.
Look, this sounds like a topic that we could probably run with on another episode because I think we can freestyle the shit out of that. So to be continued, I reckon. But for now, I need to throw to this interview with Will Gilbey, and I just want to just talk quickly about the Gilbey brothers. So they're like a pretty awesome filmmaking duo. I
was going to say, do they travel all over the countryside?
Ask the Gilbeys. Ask the Gilbeys. No one's going to get that under the age of 40.
No, and especially not if you don't live in Australia.
That's right. So these guys I compare to like a British version of the Coen brothers, I guess you'd say, kinda. The movies they've made, like Rise of the Foot Soldier, Ben's lost it. They made A Lonely Place to Die with Melissa George, which is a fantastic thriller. Survival.
So they're more like the Wachowskis.
No, they're not. No,
they're more like the action. They're not making quirky, like thriller comedy kind of things with weirds. They're making
but when I compare it, I'm not comparing it in that way. I'm comparing it in that they're two brothers. That's comparable, but also they're making very distinct genre films in their own right. If that makes sense.
And are you saying that they don't compare to the Wachowskis because now the Wachowskis are no longer brothers?
I was not going to open that can of worms, my friend. Speaking of worms.
Someone eventually had to.
Anyhow, but the point I'm getting to is that they Will has now come out and made his own directorial debut because previously it was his brother that did all the directing and he did all the writing. And it's
that
a great
is exactly
film.
like the Coen brothers. Good call.
Yeah.
Now that Ethan is on his own.
Yeah. So this movie is very much like an Assault on Precinct type of movie about a female cop that's stuck with a broken leg inside a police station that's besieged. It's pretty intense. It's good stuff. And let's just have a chat with him and you can hear about it from him. Right off the start, I want to just say it is a huge pleasure to be chatting with you because, look, your films, you and your brother have made some bang ups over the years that have really struck a chord with me. Like, obviously, Rise of the Foot Soldier is one of those cult films that just hits hard every time. But the other one too is A Lonely Place to Die is a movie that has never left me. I love it, adore it. Have that on Blu-ray somewhere in the background here. It's
nice.
A pleasure to be chatting with you for real.
You too. Thanks so much for having me. Yeah, it's really exciting.
A pleasure. Like Jericho Ridge, awesome. Just awesome. I loved it.
That's great to hear. Thank you so much.
It's a very self-contained, very taut, very tense kind of film. How long has this story sort of been floating around up there for?
I think I finished the first draft I was going back and just double check. I think it was sometime in 2017.
Right.
It's one of the ones I wrote. I had another script I was trying to get made before this. That was a bit more sort of sprawling, perhaps a bit more expansive, and it just wasn't quite. We came close a couple of times, but we didn't quite get there. And so I was really thinking, like, look, first-time filmmakers. I'm an editor. I must have cut 10 first-time directors' features, some of which worked great and some of which didn't work. And one of the things I sort of really conscious of is obviously when you're doing low budget, you have a compressed time frame. And you have not that much money. So if you've got 20 locations, trying to do 4 locations in a day, it's pretty brutal, and you don't really get to shoot the film how you imagine you get to shoot the film. You basically tear there in a van, get caught in traffic, arrive to location 20 minutes late, jump out, put the camera on the shoulder, shoot sort of late 80s, early 90s TV coverage, you know, wide, mid, a couple of close-ups. Oh, and we're off to the next location. Whereas if you can sit in one spot, you finally actually get the chance to maybe shoot it the way you want to, light it the way you want to, and also try and use, because obviously, you know, one location films can be hard to keep visually interesting and to keep interesting, but if you can try and turn it into a pressure cooker, that's the ideal, you know, and you just set fire to the whole thing and watch it fucking explode.
How did you find, like, you edited this one as well, yeah? How did you find editing your own?
I didn't.
You didn't?
I thought I was going to. So we had a very, very good editor called Sarah Pejek, who's brilliant, much earlier in her career than I am as an editor. But I always thought, I'm editing my own film. And I dug my heels in and I fought with people about it. And I thought, we'll come back to London after the shoot. I'll give her 2 weeks to finish the assembly and then I'll take over. But she was really good.
Excellent.
And really efficient. And having to also, when you're doing a first time film, you're like, your sort of anxiety levels are going up and down like a rocket. You're like, one day it's like, that was pretty good. The next day you're like, this is absolutely terrible. And then sort of everything you sort of judge it so harshly sometimes because it's your first one.
Yeah.
So like if I was cutting it myself, I think I'd just gone slowly mad in an edit suite for 12 weeks, ended up with a 2-minute long film and saying, this is the only stuff that works.
But at the same time, go on, sorry.
She was able to really bring some nuance. She's really good at cutting to reactions. And she came up with like quite a few really smart little cuts that I'm like, I know I never would have thought of that. And I just thought, I loved the building the relationship and working on it together. And, you know, I'm probably more experienced doing action, so I can jump in there and really be, you know, that annoying gremlin over her shoulder. But then equally, I can just sit back and let her cook and she's great. So I never imagined I'd do that.
As an editor, though, when you handball your film to someone else to cut, is there anxiety at first? Like, are you like, do you think, I know exactly how I want this cut and I'm not sure if I trust it in someone else's hands?
No, I'm in the edit every minute. And as an editor, I've always liked working on projects with directors who are engaged with the edit. You sometimes do an edit job and they'll come in on a Monday and say, oh, I'll come in on Friday, show me what you cut.
Yeah.
And those films never turn out too good.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I'm trying to stifle anyone creatively, but I think it's a back and forth. You're working together. And it just, you just don't go insane. I said 12 weeks in a room on your own when you've got quite a lot at stake and you're just hoping this is going to come out okay. It's too much. It was too much for me.
I bet. One thing that really struck a chord with me, because I always think that there's not enough filmmakers that snag the viewer right at the start with some good music to really set the tone. And you hit us with 2 bangers right out of the gate.
Yes.
Funkadelic and Liquid Limited.
Yes.
I think you hit the tone immediately. You kind of gave it a bit of an exploitation feel at the same time with the credits and all that. Were they songs you had in mind right from the start, or?
Liquid Limited was 100%. That was one of those things I heard on the radio, and it's got that slightly, you know, it's hip hop, but it feels slightly sort of rural America. And I'm just like, oh my God, that's an amazing sound. And just Shazammed it on the radio and had it on the sort of my Jericho Ridge Spotify playlist for however many years before we got to make the film. Funkadelic came quite late. We had another track in there for a while, but then just couldn't quite clear it. And then so I was working with the music supervisor and he was just sending me reams of stuff and it wasn't. And then as soon as you hear that track, you're like, oh my God, that's really, really cool. And the sort of wide imagery and the yellow font, there's a slight, there is a 70s vibe to it. And that's, 2 best decades for movies, in my opinion, the 70s and the 90s.
Yep.
And it was, suddenly bang. Yeah. Because we don't have a lot of music in the film. There's those 2 songs. And then there's a song at the end, which is done by Gavin Rossdale from Bush.
Amazing.
He recorded an original song for us. But obviously, it was mostly score.
Yes. Well, I do think you really snagged the viewer right out of the gate, as I said. And that's important, I think. Speaking of sort of the 70s and 80s and all that kind of stuff, when you're preparing this production, do you have any influences in mind that you're leaning on right from the start, or are you trying to ignore the influences?
Well, I mean, the obvious influence everyone mentions is Assault on Precinct 13 because it's, it's a siege of a police station. So obviously I'm a massive fan of that. And like any filmmaker worth their salt, I'm a huge John Carpenter fan.
Yeah.
As I'm sure are most people who are into movies.
Of course.
But it's one of those things where I'm like, okay, I've got an idea. It's in the same, milieu. It's in the same. So it's one of the things that I just didn't want to watch it for a while whilst I was developing this, I just sort of ignored that. And then you also think to yourself that, Assault on Precinct 13 is really kind of a sort of remake-ish of Rio Bravo.
Yeah.
Even to the point where I just bought Rio Bravo on the 4K disc, which is, I've never watched it before. It's amazing.
Stunning. Yep.
And you can watch it as a John Carpenter commentary.
100%.
Like that's how interesting he is. But
Yeah.
I guess like my sort of thing, there's a lot of influences, obviously. But one of the things I sort of tried to figure out as an editor was just, when you're doing your first film, you're looking for so much inspiration. So I must have picked about 20 films and just loaded them into Premiere Pro and just sort of gone through them, just plucking out colors I like, shots I like, camera movements I like, and just creating these sort of 20-minute long sequences. I got about 8 of them. And then when you're feeling low, on the shoot and you're exhausted and you're feeling low and you just sit there and you're just mainlining shots that are just inspiring you. And so trying to use a bit of editing to help with the direction, really, just to keep your inspiration levels high, because obviously when you're shooting, you get quite tired, it's pretty exhausting.
100%. I'm glad you said that, because sometimes you ask that question, some filmmakers don't like any sort of comparisons or anything like that, but I love it. I think every film has it, and you can't deny it.
But I also think Assault on Precinct 13, it's 1976, am I right?
Yeah.
I think you could have another police station in a...
That's right.
Yeah,
Yeah, and it's not the same. It's not the same. Different circumstances.
It's very. I mean, it's one of the big differences is the sort of the POV in terms of character. Like obviously, Assault on Precinct 13, we're in there with all the different crew, and then we're jumping out and we're seeing the guys outside and all that sort of stuff. Whereas this, one of the things I sort of set myself very early on was this was going to be Tabby's story, totally.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna every scene is her POV. So she has to drive every scene. We can't have scenes without her.
Yeah.
And that obviously, when I was trying to figure out how we see, how we get away from her, was sort of suddenly thinking dash cams, stuff like that, and that's how we use it.
Yes, absolutely.
Because originally, when I think I first started writing it, all that Arnie Boo, when they go to the cabin and you have that whole standoff, that was kind of just phone calls, and I was like, I mean, that could probably work. Ish, but it's way cooler if you can see it.
Definitely, and Nikki Amikabed is fantastic in this. Was she your first choice to play Tabby, and also, did she always have a broken leg in the script?
She has a broken ankle in the script. Actually, no, broken leg in the script, broken ankle in the film.
Yes, right.
Just trying to get a cast that would be long enough for her leg, and so an ankle boot was so much quicker than trying to put on a sort of fake plastic casting. And in terms of budget, we couldn't have done that because we didn't have a lot of money. But yes, the ankle was one of the first things, and I just thought it's great to have her on the back foot, and then you find out later why it's broken, and then you sort of pay into all that. But yeah, you want to have the character as many sort of disadvantages and have it as hard for them as possible. We went through a few different. Originally, we were planning to shoot this at a sort of higher budget level, and we went and location scouted Winnipeg in Manitoba, Canada, in November 2019. That's probably the coldest place I've ever been in my life.
I used to live in Canada, so I know all about it.
Yeah, we got there and it's -16 and the wind's like 80 miles an hour, and you go from the hotel to
and your nose freezes.
The Canadian producer turns up wearing a sweater, and he's just like, it's a dry cold, don't worry. But then we were aiming to go into production in April 2020, and obviously everything fell apart.
Yeah.
And we spent 2 years trying to where's the first place we can go into production? But then obviously as we're coming out of COVID, every other person in the world who's making a film or a TV series has the same idea. Suddenly you've got the streamers, you've got Disney throwing money around, trying to gather cast for a low budget film with a first time director is super hard. So we took ages and eventually decided to take the money we had previously raised and commit to going and shooting the film in Kosovo.
Yes.
And so we created a list of people we could afford to hire. And one of my producers, Alex, had seen Nikki in Luther and a couple of other things and was saying, pay attention to her. And I did my research. I watched her and I thought, oh my God. I was watching scenes from a show called Quarry, which she only did 1 season of, which she's in. And she's like she is in everything. She's genuinely amazing.
Yes.
So yeah, we got hold of her, and I feel incredibly lucky. Actually, shooting in Kosovo turned out super well because we get to have a proper 5 more days on the schedule. Which, when you're shooting action, time is so valuable. And also in Kosovo, we got to build the sheriff's office, as opposed to sort of everywhere else we looked in the world, we'd have had to sort of find an existing structure and adapt to it, and it's never quite big enough, and the roofs aren't high enough, and you can't smash it up enough. And so having the control and the ability to build that, I mean, it was not insulated or anything, so we're all dying in there. And the wind comes about and it's -12 outside. There's a couple of shots where she's inside, and you can see her breath, which no one else has noticed, but it was that cold.
Wow. I was going to ask if there are any advantages to shooting over in Kosovo. Obviously, there were. You've just explained. But were the opening shots Kosovo as well, or were they Canada?
Yes, no. So So again, we were looking for somewhere. So one of our Kosovo, I think we're the first international film production to shoot there.
Yeah.
And they're currently working on a tax credit, which I think is going to be 30%, which will be out possibly in a couple of months.
Cool.
Which will make it much more. But so it was, one of our producers, a guy called Harvey Ascott, about the last 10 to 12 years, has been going out to Kosovo, shooting commercials, music videos. He made a short film out there in 2016 that got nominated for an Oscar, which is brilliant. All about the sort of Kosovan War. It's called Shock, SHOK. So he was like, well, I know this place. He's been out there long enough to know exactly who are the best people. And so we got all of them. And then we took some English crew out, like a director of photography, a first assistant director, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it was like, again, you go out there, the landscapes, and they're really, really, really cool.
Yeah, really cool. I would never have known.
When he mentioned Kosovo, I started Googling what it looks like. I love these images. And I Googled the temperature. And it said in winter it's 0, in summer it's 20. And I thought, perfect. It's the easiest, I don't know what the fuck I Googled because it's the coldest and hottest place in the entire world. It gets down to -20 in winter. It gets up to 40 in summer. So yeah, I must have misspelled Kosovo. But yeah, it was great. So actually it was really cool. And obviously it's really fun also. People are very welcoming out there. They're very, they're very pleased to have people coming and investing and, bringing creativity and to their country. So they were super cool and very cool to work with.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Just backing track on Nikki for a moment. You look at her filmography around the same time as this film's been released. She did Knock at the Cabin, which is a very self-contained one-piece kind of film, and she's doing a Zemeckis film that all takes place in one room as well. So she's like, she's
she's
some
probably
good stuff.
The next thing she probably just wants to expansive,
yeah,
big, mountains on the horizon, big widescreen.
Give the next Dances with Wolves.
She wants to get out of a room. Yeah.
And Zach Morris. Sorry, go ahead.
I think she's superb. I think we got very, very lucky I think that about all the cast really. And obviously we're shooting action. It's a compressed time frame. It's late nights. It's super cold. So it's about as stressful as it can get. But they were honestly, to a person, the cast, the company of actors was superb. Really, really great, creative, and also very sort of not sympathetic, but very accepting of the fact this is my first time. And, and I sort of think one of Nikki's main, apart from the fact she's a superb actress, a great person, she's unbelievably prepared and very creative. Like a lot of the film, when we're shooting, there's voices off screen, aren't there? So she's on the radio, she's on the phone, she's talking to people, and we didn't have an actor on set, so I would have to play those roles, and we'd do 7 or 8 passes with me playing 3 characters, playing Mrs. DeLuca, playing her, and that, doing different accents. And with the best, I'm a shit actor. So her ability to carry a scene, ignore me, and deliver a performance that's superb is like doubly impressive to me.
Yeah, I mean, she's so good. I thought to myself, like, Will must have really put her through hell because, like, she looks like she's in peril for sure.
Yes, I did. It was sort of arrive on set. It's like roll around on the floor, get dusty, get filthy, and then you just think like, it was pretty harsh.
Yeah. And Zach Morris was excellent too. I feel like you really got lucky with him because he's on the rise. Obviously, people know him from EastEnders, but he's recently been in Goosebumps, which is a really fantastic new version. Like you snatched him at the right time. Was he easy to get?
I think. Well, I was going to say, he was one of the people that auditioned, and it's sort of, and I sort of one of the reasons his audition was brilliant. But B, there was a sort of something comforting about knowing he's done, 250 episodes of it. He's been on a big set, probably twice the size of our set with a huge crew. He's not going to come out there and fall, collapse under pressure. And that was kind of reliable. And he's really smart, really prepared, asks a lot of interesting, intelligent questions. And when I don't know the answer, I hold my hand up and we fix it.
Yeah, that's great.
And the other guy, because obviously we've got some established talent like Nick, but Solly McLeod as well, who plays Walter. Yeah, I think about the same age as Zach. I feel they're both just in the ascendant, and it couldn't happen to 2 nicer, more talented people. you
Yeah,
know?
and this is the perfect kind of film, like later down the road when you look back at their IMDb, like it's nice to know they got their start in something like this as far as features
Yeah,
go.
absolutely.
Yeah, for
Absolutely.
sure. What compelled you to sort of step out and direct a feature for the first time? Was it an itch you felt you had to scratch after all these years of writing and editing?
Yeah, well, it's just been something I've kind of always wanted to do. Like, editing sort of became a day job just because, setting up a film, raising finance is very, very time consuming, very difficult. Whereas if you're an editor, you kind of walk onto a fully funded job and it's there, and then you come off it and you're bouncing between projects thinking, wow, this must be easy to get stuff made. And then you try and do it yourself and you find it very, very difficult.
Yeah,
But this script was, as soon as I finished this script, people wanted to make it,
yeah.
which was a nice feeling because of the other script, it was going well, but it was just much harder to gather momentum with it. But yeah, it's always something I've wanted to do. And ended up, after a pretty tough 2 or 3 first days where I think I was like, never doing this again. I just I think I found my feet and I just started to really enjoy the process. And then just sort of being across everything. Because, if you're an editor, if you're a writer, you surrender it and someone goes off and makes it. If you're an editor, you finish it and then someone else will marshal it through post. They'll do the sound, they'll do the visual effects, they'll do the coloring, the grade. And so actually being across all that, I really enjoy it. I love sound effects, I love visual effects. I love the music as well. Being across all of that was just a lot of fun.
Do you intend to direct more?
Absolutely, yeah.
Cool.
Watch this space. Yeah, so I've got a couple of things I've written. I'm just putting out into the world. I've got an action film, a crime thriller, and I'm just started writing a horror film. And yeah, so I really, really want to do it again. Absolutely. And yeah,
Yes.
and actually watching this, like watching people's reactions to this, because also having been like a writer and an editor, if something doesn't come out right, you can always sort of hide behind someone and go, well, they fucked it up, not me.
Yeah.
So Galway was our first festival. I always imagine like here's the dream. You write the film, you make the film, you put the film on a shelf, no one ever watches it, and then someone you do the next one, and it's the world's most expensive hobby. And so when we first went to Galway last summer, I mean, I can't describe to you the raw terror of actually having to sit down and watch it with an audience for the first time. Like I wanted to melt into my seat. And then they started getting into it and making the right noises and enjoying it and gasping and laughing. And suddenly I was like, oh, actually, no, there is something to this audience thing. And having done a few festivals now, I think you can actually learn quite a lot about filmmaking from watching an audience. So a film like this is very tense. Like people are really, I find, like really ready to laugh. Like you throw even an approximation of a joke towards an audience after a very tense scene, and they jump on it, and that's so satisfying to watch that work. And it's sort of, I feel it's something you could turn up, like next time out of the gate. So I felt I really learned something going watching with I've watched it with maybe 20 different audiences now, and you
Very
do
cool.
learn.
Very cool. I'm glad that you intend to make more because I've said to my podcast co-host weeks ago that you and your brother to me have always been like the British Coen brothers, and it's funny. It's true, and it's funny how recently Ethan Coen's just broken out and gone his own way to direct some films. So like you're on the right course, and you're about 20 years ahead of him. So
nice one, yeah. Drive Away Dolls. Yeah, I haven't seen that yet.
It's good. It's good.
Is it?
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Its actual title was Drive Away Dykes, but the studio wouldn't let him get it through. But if you watch the film, they have a cheeky, middle finger to the studio in the movie. So it's a good one.
Nice.
It is a good one. One of the things I think is the best ingredient for an action thriller is a nice tight running time, and you've really nailed it with 90 minutes and less. I think you're 87 minutes or something like that.
Yeah.
And that's perfect. Like, do you have any of your own self-imposed rules for how action thriller should be?
Well, I'm an editor, so I take that perspective to writing. Oftentimes I'm very conscious of transitions between scenes, and I'm very conscious of like if you see a 5-page dialogue scene, I know that once actors get hold of that, that's 8 minutes.
Yeah.
And you're sitting there, you've got an 8-minute scene, and it doesn't work, and you have to cut it down till it stops making sense, and it's just component parts, and it's probably better to. I sort of think really to do as much cutting as you can before you step on set and waste any time shooting stuff
Makes
you're
sense.
not going to need. So like, for instance, this film, having been an editor and only really shooting what I wanted or needed, I reckon there's maybe 5 or 6 shots we actually shot that aren't in the film. So working with Rory, we were very disciplined about that. And I think that is probably from an editing background. Just being conscious of just sitting in great big flabby scenes and just being like, we've got to get out of here. And also, one thing I do feel we're definitely going through, some films hold their length, of course. And I don't want to, but I think that we're definitely going through a period where I think a lot of action films are coming in up to an hour too long.
Yeah,
And I think
absolutely.
especially if you're a VFX, super VFX heavy show, you can cut $40 million off your budget by just cutting some pages and being disciplined.
I do wish that some of the bigger studios would listen to the audience, because that's a common complaint, that things are too long these days, and the studios will then argue, well, you will binge watch a show on streaming, so you've got the tolerance for it. But they're two different kinds of forms of
Totally.
entertainment.
And also, I just think, a good 90-minute film, I always think is an absolute treat,
Bloody oath, yep.
Obviously, some things deserve their length, totally. But something like this, especially one location, I think this is 2 hours long and it's going to be, it just feels ridiculous. And also, they're waiting for, reinforcements to arrive. If they're waiting for an hour, it just feels crazy. If they're waiting for half an hour, I can buy it.
That's right. And if they need the piss, you've given them enough time to wait, and then they can go off and do it.
Exactly.
Before I wind this up, I like to sort of end these sort of chats with a little bit of some get to know yous, and I'm wondering what are the type of movies you gravitate towards in your downtime?
I definitely, it's sort of crime, action genre, really. I'm a genre, but all sorts, really. Crime, action, horror, stuff like that. I really, really dig. I think probably my favorite 3 films are The Wild Bunch, Goodfellas, and La Haine. So quite a diverse group of films, but I just, all sorts. But I love a good action film. I love a crime thriller, that sort of stuff. Horror, I'm getting more and more into.
Very cool.
Yeah, I saw a film last year that blew my mind. I don't know if you've seen When Evil Lurks, Argentine horror.
It's the best horror film of last year.
Right?
Universe building is incredible in that.
That was it went so hard. And I was just like, I didn't know you could go that hard and still keep people on board, like without it being gratuitous or disgusting or whatever. But I loved that. It was such a smart film.
The guy I co-host the podcast with works for Monster Fest down here in Melbourne, and they screened that as their opening night film, and the audience reaction was just incredible. But we were talking about that film, and it's the universe building in that film is so great that it could be a franchise. You don't want it to be, but it could sustain another couple of installments easily.
And they don't give you everything you need. They're just like, we're just going to accept that this is the way the world is, and you sort of catch up around it. We're not going to explain the possession. They're just there. This is the world we've created, and we're just going to get on with it, and you come on board and figure it out.
Yeah, and that's kind of why I don't want more installments, because I don't want to know too much. Like, I just love the ambiguity of it.
Awesome.
Yeah, cool. And obviously, filmmaking is in your blood. I'm wondering, was there a film in particular when you're younger that sort of triggered you to want to pursue it as a career?
I think one of the ones that blew my mind earlier, really, like, when you sit down and you watch a film twice in a row, was Goodfellas. When I first watched that, must have been about 16, 17. Actually, no, it was also, I went through a massive John Woo Hong Kong phase as a teenager. I think that's what delivered me into action filmmaking and a real passion for it. And so it was really across that, buying all the old crappy, awesome, really awful picture quality VHS cassettes, which looked like dog shit, but God,
the best. I had the pleasure of interviewing him a couple of months ago for his new film Silent Night, and oh my God, the guy's a master. And that film Silent Night, look, I didn't love the film, but it's a silent action film, which is just remarkable, like very, very interesting. Cool. Well, awesome. I've had such a great time having the opportunity to chat with you, and I do genuinely love the film, and I love your work, mate. So thank you so much. Thank you for the time, and I hope everybody that's listening or watching this goes and finds it and watches it.
So do I. That would be awesome. Yeah.
Welcome to Bonehead Weekly Fun Size Funsies. We're talking about breaking the fourth wall. We do that on here all the time. And basically what that means is when you're watching a movie and all of a sudden the character looks at the camera, the screen, and talks to you as the audience. For example, right now, the new, oh my God, I almost forgot what his name was. Deadpool and Wolverine movies coming in. Deadpool does it all the time. James, you had this idea.
Yeah, so I actually, what made me think about this, oddly enough, was not Deadpool, though. I'm a huge Deadpool fan, including the comics. But I was thinking about a scene in a movie that works really well, which is a fourth wall break. It's the start of a movie, and there's a young child looking directly into the camera and talking. And it sets up the rest of the movie really well. But when I first saw it, I saw it in theaters, and I sat down to watch it. Why is this kid talking to me while I'm in the theater? What is this? What's going on? And I thought, wow, what a unique way to semi-break, because you find out later he's talking to someone.
Yeah.
But what a unique way to start a movie. And that's Stir of Echoes, when the child's in the tub at the beginning of the movie. And he's like, oh, he's talking. Then at the end, he goes, does it hurt to be dead? And it sets up the rest of the movie. But he's talking to the camera the whole time.
I did not care for Stir of Echoes when it came out. It's a movie I need to go back and rewatch because I love the author who wrote the book, Richard Matheson, but I do not remember it and I did not care for it. I need to go back. All right. Should I go or Chad?
Go for it.
All right. There's so many good Mel Brooks ones. Can I name two?
Don't eat up my time, bitch.
Okay, Spaceballs. When Colonel Sanders explains the whole God-forsaken plot, and then Rick Moranis goes, "Everybody got that?" The camera.
Yeah.
And then the second one that I love, and Blazing Saddles. When we start talking about comfort food, Blazing Saddles is one of my comfort food films. It just makes me happy. I can rewatch it. People talk about how much I love horror, but truly, my first love has always been comedy. When Harvey Korman looks up and he's trying to figure out how to screw over Rockridge, and he's asking these questions rhetorically, and then he looks at the camera and goes, "Why am I asking you?" Right?
So, yeah.
He's got the can in his mouth, and it's Harvey Korman, and nobody will ever replace him.
So mine's breaking the fourth wall, but it's not breaking the fourth wall to us, the audience. It's breaking the fourth wall to the audience in the movie. It's full meta. And it's probably my favorite Woody Allen movie of all time, talking about The Purple Rose of Cairo. I truly love the whole breaking the fourth wall scenes in those films, especially if you're not familiar with it. If you're most familiar with certain Woody Allen films, again, if you're not familiar with this one, you should watch Purple Rose of Cairo. It is my favorite Woody Allen film. It's about a woman whose life is not the greatest. Her only escape from her crappy life is going to the theater and seeing movies. And at one point, she goes to see the movie, The Purple Rose of Cairo, and the main character says, "I'm done with this story. I'm tired of reliving it." And he comes out of the screen and runs out and has fun with her.
Played by Jeff Daniels.
And it's played by Jeff Daniels. And the cool part is, while he's away, all the characters in the movie are just stuck in this one scene, and they can't move forward because he's going out with her, and they're continually looking out at the audience, talking to them, trying to figure out what's going on. I genuinely had a blast watching this movie and watching just the continual fourth wall breaks, but not to me, to the audience in the cinema.
By the way, the fact none of you mentioned Bo Darville shocked me.
Oh, it's fantastic, and it's replayed in Death Proof by Kurt Russell, and it's clearly Tarantino giving a nod to Burt Reynolds. But
yeah.
All right. By the way, best Woody Allen movie, Manhattan. But that's beside the point. This has been
Purple Rose of Cairo.
That's okay. This has been Bonehead Weekly Fun Size.
Thank you, Boneheads. Breaking the fourth wall there. Love that stuff. Once again, they're leading with some themes, Ben, that we could probably do with on the show. So
it's amazing that they chose that theme because Monster Fest was on the weekend interstate, and the week prior to that was in Melbourne, and we played Deranged, which has one of the greatest and maybe earliest, at least in horror, breaking of the fourth wall.
What year was Deranged?
Deranged is 74.
Psycho.
The same year as the
Chainsaw
Psycho break
Massacre.
the fourth wall?
Yeah, at the
Yeah,
end.
at
it's
the
not
very
like
end,
when
he
he's
looks at the camera.
Yeah, right. He looks at the camera. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was-
Yeah.
No, but both based
funnily
on
enough,
the
Deranged
Ed
is
game.
based on the same.
Yeah.
It's based on the same source material.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Maybe Ed Gein was famous for breaking the fourth wall.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just needed room between his bedroom and the lounge room.
His own extension.
I was thinking of those movies. I think Annie Hall is my favorite one. There's a lot of them, obviously, a lot of examples, but Annie Hall's got that great moment when Woody Allen is in the cinema line and the guy behind him is just talking about Fellini or something like that, and Woody Allen just comes up to the camera and goes, "Can you believe this guy?" And then they get in an argument to the audience.
But then that same guy's like, I think the director thought this, and then the guy's like, I'm actually the director of this film, and that's not what I was thinking at all. So good.
It is fantastic.
My absolute favorite part, Annie Hall, though, is the Christopher Walken thing, where he's like, he's there just with Woody and Diane Keaton and her family are in the other room, and he's like, when I drive at night and I see the headlines coming the other way, and I just want to drive into them. And Woody Allen's like, oh, that's weird. And then the Diane Keaton and the family come back and they go, oh, Christopher Walken's going to drive you home. He just looks at Christopher Walken, and Christopher Walken just has this grin on his face.
Such a great movie. My favorite rom-com.
Such an amazing bit.
Yes. All right, let's recommend some movies. We'll go myself, Melzy, Ben in this order, if that's cool.
All
right. Ben, I hope you agree. I really want you to agree with me on this being an underrated movie. 2008, Outlander with Jim Caviezel, which is that movie. That expression does not give me hope. And now that laughter.
Vikings versus Indians.
Yeah, well, no, Vikings versus aliens. That's right. It's one of those
Yeah.
genre blending movies about
Look,
a space. Well, he's an alien. He's a spaceman that crash lands on Earth during the Viking times, and a massive sort of alien bug follows him. And then first he has to win over the Vikings, who think he's some kind of witch or whatever. And then they have to band together to fight this bug. And I just think it's a really interesting fusion of genres that tanked at the time, but now I watched it about 3 nights ago. It holds up better than I remember it. Like, it is a pretty great production.
Look, I would like to watch it again. And look, if you had come to me with that idea on paper, I probably would have whipped it out and jizzed all over the script. And gone, this is the greatest. This is the greatest thing. Have my lifeblood.
This is what I was actually going to... It's interesting you say that, because I was thinking about these type of movies where they blend the genres. They sound fantastic on paper, but they don't tend to work. Like Cowboys versus Aliens is another one. Wild Wild West. Like, these are movies that have tanked hard, but in theory, that's what fans kind of want.
Yeah. If you would have, that's right. No, then Kenneth Branagh, who has no legs, rides around on a giant spider,
mechanical spider.
That's fucking great. I want to see that. And then you're watching it. Ooh, I don't want to see that.
But I do think that Outlander, I don't know if it was too early. It came too early in time. I think it's a bit ahead of itself. It's just a really cool movie and a really cool production. And it had me engaged from start to finish. And it made me think of the new the new Predator movie, Prey. Very similar kind of concept. And I think I like Outlander more.
And also, like the one I was actually thinking of. What about? Did you like Pathfinder, which was Indians versus Vikings?
Yes, and that is interesting. I didn't mind it. That was Marcus Dispel who directed the Chainsaw Massacre remake. He was originally, I think, going to direct Outlander.
Yeah, right.
Him and Rennie Harlan were up for it first. And
it does sound like a Rennie Harlan kind of.
And Carl Urban was originally supposed to be in the Jim Caviezel role, and then due to scheduling conflicts, he bailed and then went to Pathfinder.
Isn't it amazing though that if you think that Jim Caviezel is second banana to Carl Urban, you're like this?
Well, this movie also had John Hurt and Ron Perlman and Jack Houston. Sophia Myles, like, it's a good cast. And anyway, that's all I'm going to say about it. I just think it needs a reevaluation in my eyes, and I hope people listening to this give it another shot or a first time try. Anyway, Malzy.
Very good. So I went to the preview screening of Abigail a week and a half
I missed this.
ago or something like that. I had a great time. It is so fun. Like, I kind of went in not really having any expectations. And I absolutely loved it. And I think the entire audience absolutely loved it. I know we had 20 tickets for the Horror Society people. And I know every single person that went from the Horror Society absolutely loved it. It's just such a great, it's a really
good throwback movie. It's a redo of Dracula's Daughter, kind of loosely, I guess.
Yeah, loose. Yeah.
I was going to say, the trailer was giving me Dracula 2000 vibes.
It makes me, the marketing of it just makes me, wonder how amazing it could have been to not have to have known that it's a ballerina vampire movie.
Here's a little bit of a tease for people. So I'm going to have the directors of Abigail as well as Kevin Durant and William Callett on the show when the movie comes out on Home End. And when I spoke to them, I said to them, like, was it really frustrating?
This is great, because I was wondering what
I said to them, was it really frustrating for you to have such a really awesome twist in a movie that you have to give away in the marketing? Like, the whole premise of the movie relies on this twist, but at the same
Yeah.
time, you kind of have to give it away. And they're like, they just
to
had
get
to
people to go.
They're
Yeah.
like, we had to accept that fact and then throw
Yeah.
other shit that surprises them. And they do have
Yes.
other surprising stuff
And it's
in
so
there.
fine. Like it's so you still it doesn't matter. Like
Yep.
it absolutely doesn't matter. But my God, if you could have watched it without knowing.
Yep.
And because you don't actually, the twist doesn't happen for 40 minutes
Yeah.
or so until into it. But
So the
it's
suspense,
still,
the suspense lies in you're waiting for the characters to find out.
yes,
You know what I mean? You're sort of-
so you're already
you're
clued in.
purveyor,
How is
yep.
that going to happen? And so that's true. But probably my favorite moment of it is I don't know how much I should give away, but but there is a moment in it. So Catherine Newton is one of the people in it. And there is a moment in it where there is a dance sequence between
Yes.
the girl that plays Abigail and Catherine Newton. Oh my God, it is fucking incredible. So you're cutting back from one to the other, and it's just this dance sequence. And my God, that was like chef's kiss.
Here's the other thing. I didn't
beautiful.
realize when I was chatting to these directors that I was wearing my Scream hoodie, and they directed the last two Scream movies.
Yes, yes. So I think maybe they didn't do the next Scream because of this movie, but I mean the next Scream has all gone to shit as well. So yeah, it was
Cool.
it was so good. I couldn't
Yeah.
recommend it highly enough. And I don't think it's actually done very well. So
No. I think
yeah.
I said to Ben after I saw
Ben.
it, I compared it a bit to Demon Knight, the Tales from the Crypt movie. Like it felt a bit like that with all of these people trapped in the one location.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
with a
yeah.
monster essentially.
And also it's like it's funny and it's bloody.
Oh yeah, it's
That's
gory. Yeah.
Like people at work have been like, oh, I can't handle horror and blah, blah. And I'm like, it's not really. It's funny and there's just overloads of blood, but it's not really.
There's one particularly
Yeah, I really,
grotesque scene.
I
but,
really
yeah.
wanted to see this one, but I had a birthday party to go to instead, and I couldn't. So I
Oh.
am looking forward to
Yeah,
it making it
Nah,
home
it
entertainment.
is so good. It's really
Yeah, yeah.
awesome.
All right, so Ben, now it's for you to bring us home with your recommendation.
Well, look, I'm just going to completely change tone because I ended up watching a rom-com
Ooh.
on I think it's on Prime. And once again, it's one of those ones where I'd seen clips of it on TikTok quite a bit. And so then I was just like, oh, I've just got to watch it. I can't handle watching the clips all the time, but it's a movie called Upgraded.
Okay.
It stars Camilla Mendes from Riverdale, and who I believe when Jarrett went to Sundance, he actually met her just like on the street with his people he was sharing his house with. But also Marissa Tomei pops up almost unrecognizable, and she puts on an accent through the film. Lena Olin, it's good to see her in a film again. Thomas Kretschmann, the Dario Argento's Dracula, pops up in it.
Well,
Gregory
isn't-
Montel from Call
wasn't
My
he
Agent.
in the new Indiana Jones? Was he? No, he was a Nazi in something, wasn't he? Recently.
He's that kind of guy. He could have been in a million things.
Okay.
And Saoirse Monica Jackson from Dairy Girls also pops up. And basically, it's very by the numbers, and it's a plot you've all heard before, but they do it right, so it's okay. and Camila Mendes, she's like the junior assistant. Marissa Tomei is kind of junior assistant in this big auction house, and she gets invited to come along to London for like the biggest auction the company has ever held. But Marissa Tomei has two other assistants that are incredibly nasty, and when they get to the airport, they're like, "Oh, sorry, we didn't have there was no other seats on this plane, so we booked you a flight that leaves in 4 hours." And she's like, "Well, then why'd you get me to come to the airport now?" And they're like, "Well, we need help with our bags." So the flight attendant at the booking desk takes pity on her and upgrades her to first class. And so while she's in first class, who does she meet but a very handsome young man who and then she kind of leads him to believe that she is basically Marissa Tomei. And as it turns out, coincidence or not coincidence, It's his mother is the one who owns the paintings that they're about to auction.
Right.
And she kind of gets swept up in the whole
There's
thing.
the
But
hook.
there's the hook. But it's done well. Camila Mendes is incredibly watchable. I have never seen Riversdale, so that aspect didn't mean that much to me. But
well, I mean, firstly, I've got to say, you had me at Marissa Tomei. Like,
yeah.
Marissa Tomei is great.
I'm
There's
not
no
gonna say what I was going to say.
there's no small parts, only small actors. And Marissa Tomei is a huge actor.
And I just looked it up, and if I'm not mistaken, is Andrew Schultz in there? Did you mention him?
Andrew Schultz?
Yeah, the famous podcaster. He's quite a controversial podcaster. If he is in it like it's suggested here, I find it interesting because he's come under fire lately for... He used to really shit on a lot of Hollywood movies, like, just movies that were subpar and blah, blah, blah. And now he's popping up in a lot of them. And it's like his fans have remembered what he used to say about this shit, calling him a sellout. Anyway.
But do you remember when I think Tina Fey and Amy Poehler were hosting the Golden Globes or whatever it is, and they said, "Oh, and Joaquin Phoenix isn't here. Remember, because he said that award shows were a load of crap. Oh no, he is here.
Love that stuff. Awesome. That brings us to the end of the show. We may as well wrap it up. Malzy, anything you want to add? Do you want to spruik anything else?
Not really.
No? Okay. Melbourne Horror Film Society, everybody. Just go to their website,
melbournehorrorfilmsociety.org.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
all that stuff. Ben, what about you?
All
Got any websites you want to promote?
Check out dirtyship.com. No, do not check out Dirty
I thought you were a lemon party guy myself, but anyway, that is the end of the show, everybody. Thank you for listening. We'll be back.
Meatspin.com.
We'll be back next week with more of the same, I guess. Looking forward to that one. All right, see you guys later.
Bye.